They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew, let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the
Hello, welcome to Stars in the House. I'm James Wesley.
And my name is Seth Rudetsky. And together we're the hosts. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
The angle is kind of weird. We normally don't do so much.
Well, yes, we moved everything a little bit closer, Seth, just because in case there was going to be like a dueling Rupert Holmes and Seth Rudetsky.
A piano face-off?
On StreamYard? I know it's not possible, but...
Was it? Doing banjos, no. Deliverance? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, bye. So listen, we are celebrating Remember When, but more importantly than Remember When, which sounds shocking, is we're raising money for the Actors Fund.
Yes.
So, James, what is the Actors Fund for those that are tuning in just to see this amazing cast?
Well, maybe some people are tuning in for the first time because they're Remember When fans, and they're like, what in the hell is Stars in the House? Well, Stars in the House began literally almost 2 years ago. We began 3 days after Broadway shut down, March 16th, 2020. And as Seth said, for the Actors Fund, though we've done other charities and raised several $100,000, in fact, for them. But
for Actors Fund, we've raised.
The Actors Fund, we've raised, by the way, before I even tell, this is our new total. Well, let's say, hold on. The Actors Fund is for any professional in entertainment, on stage, backstage, anywhere in the country. They have amazing workshops that are now accessible online. As well as literally giving direct financial assistance, whether it's paying your rent, paying your utilities, your health payment, your health deductible. It will help you find insurance on the marketplace, all of that stuff. You can go to actorsfund.org if you can help. But to your point, Seth, of what we have raised so far, thanks to viewers like you, we have raised $1,124,335 for the Actors Fund.
Just literally from the kinds of donations we get tonight, $5, $10, $25, it has added up to more than $1 million. And maybe people are saying, why does anybody need money? Broadway is back. First of all, not everybody's on Broadway. Second of all, Mrs. Doubtfire was on Broadway and then stopped for 4 months. They ain't getting paid. The point is, people are completely struggling. They've gone through their life savings. I was just talking to a Tony-nominated actor, moved back in with his parents. People need money, man. I mean, the entertainment field, how long did Brian Stokes Mitchell say it's going to take to recover?
5 years total. So we're 2 years. We have 3 years, not to bring everyone down, but that's what the research is saying for people in the performing arts, that it's going to take 5 years to really fully come back.
But this way we can celebrate the arts and raise money for them.
Absolutely.
And holy cow, I'm so excited about this cast tonight, but especially the creators.
Well, we're going to bring on Rupert in just a minute before we bring on the cast. However, because I always forget, we were doing, okay, so here's the thing. We had started off like everyone. We thought that the pandemic would only last for a couple of weeks. And we were doing 2 shows a day, every day.
2 p.m. and 8 p.m.
2 p.m. like the matinee evening performance. And
we did it for months and months.
And we did it for months and months and months. And there were times like that third week in doing the show, we had 3 TV reunions in 1 week. We had Taxi, we had This Is Us, and I can't even remember what the third one was.
West Wing. Anyway, we kept it going.
We kept it going, and I thought, like, we have not had a TV reunion in a while, and I'm like, you said it. What did you said Betty? It's a Betty Buckley quote, who's our special guest star later on in the evening, of like when she watched, I think, Wicked. And she was like, what was, better than me, the quote.
Betty was like, after Betty watched Wicked, she was like, oh my God. I was like, how do they do that? How does she do that? I'm like, what do you mean, how she do that? I'm like, you did it 8 times a week. But she said, being in the audience, she was like, I don't get it. Like, how did she sing so high? I'm like, you did it yourself.
And so with that in mind, I was like, okay, we're doing another reunion. First off, by the way, Teresa Jennings.
Because what you're trying to say is, how do we do 2 shows a day? Is that what you're referring to?
And I'm getting to it. Teresa Jennings, we want to give a shout out because she reached out to us. She's Rupert's associate, and she was like, have you thought about doing a Remember When reunion? And we were like, that'd be amazing. And she contacted everyone, sent us clips. Of course, we found clips, and then Seth found clips. But it's really so helpful because, things are open up and we're not just here at home for 24 hours a day. But to that point of me being stressed, I was like, okay, you know what? We've done this a lot of times. It's going to be okay. And we've watched the show. We love the show. I have everything set. but I still like, okay, I'm going to calm down. So I thought, okay, we have a little jacuzzi bath, and I'm like, I'm going to take a bath before. All right, Seth, I go to clean out the bath. I haven't even told you this yet.
Yeah, what happened?
I haven't even told you this yet.
By the way, why do I look like I'm wearing Lydia Mumu? This is a shirt, but does it look like I'm wearing a dress? All right, go on. Sorry.
It's a little bit flouncy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's this button right here. It's this button right here.
Okay. Carolee, any tips?
Anyway,
amazing.
I go and I'm like, okay, I haven't taken a bath in there for a while. I'm going to relax.
Yeah, he's been very stressed about this reunion.
It just, because it's a lot of people, and we've got 2 other shows this week, by the way. Billy Porter celebrating his new memoir. What's it?
Unprotected.
Thank you. Unprotected. Incredible. I'm listening to the Audible. You read it. Both are incredible. And then on Saturday, we have Master Voices, which is led by Ted Sperling. They're doing Anyone Can Whistle at Carnegie Hall. And so Elizabeth Stanley, Santino Fontana, and Vanessa Williams. We got a full week this week. That's Friday and Saturday. And they both have matching donations. But anyway, I go to take a bath, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean out. I see like the cat likes to go in there. I'm going to clean up the cat hair. And then look what I found, Seth. Glass. It's delayed. Glass shards. From the light bulb
that I broke.
Yes.
Wait, the glass shards were in the bath?
Yes.
I was trying to kill you, but wait, after you took a bath or before? I'm unclear.
Before I cleaned it out. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
But yeah.
That's not really good that this photo's not working. Hold on.
So
1 second. Let me
you can do that. So anyway,
working? I just want to see that. I want to make sure that anything else is working. 1 second. Does this work?
Well, that's true.
Okay.
That is
Good.
what we are here to celebrate. So anyway, so I just had to get that out because sort of like Kathy Lee Gifford and Regis Philbin, they would purposely, I think, not talk to each other before the show so that they could like save these little bits. I'm like, I'm not going to tell Seth.
I can't believe there was glass
literally
in the bathtub. Sorry about that.
There was a lot of glass.
The picture's not coming up, so
anyway,
cut.
Okay. So I say let's bring up. Thank you, Jason. Jason, we may need you to like bring stuff up.
Well,
I think our internet is a little bit on the fritz.
Okay, let's bring up our star.
Yes, please.
So he's literally the everything of everything. Whether it's the Mystery of Edmund Drood, he wrote this, that, this, and the other thing for Edmund Drood. It was like book, music, lyrics, orchestration.
What's your joke that I think in every single show?
I do. I always say it. I always say such an overachiever, not even Jewish. Of course, by the way, he is Jewish. Just the name is so not Jewish. But Rupert Holmes is.
Wait a minute. You leave that out of your show?
His name is actually like Shlomo Markovitz. We'll find out. But yeah, I always think he's not Jewish, but he is such an overachiever. And for Remember When, he basically wrote everything in the world. So should I first show clips of who he is? Is that what we're going to do first?
No, let's bring him out.
Okay,
yes.
So please welcome Shlomo Markovitz himself, Mr. Rupert Holmes.
Hi, Rupert.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good to see you again.
Rupert,
I think broken glass in a bathtub is one of the best lead-ins that I've ever had. It's broken glass in a bathtub and getting caught in something like that.
Those are the original lyrics.
The original lyrics, yeah.
Rupert, you sound a little bit soft for someone who's obsessed with the audio.
Is it any better?
Jason can.
Yes.
Is it any better?
Is it better? Jason, bring him up.
Jason,
okay, so if people are wondering who you are, which is rude, but in case, I'm going to show just a little to show your contrast. So first, the brilliant lyrics. And the fact that he worked with the greatest star in the world. Let's first watch. This is one of Rupert's many things that he's done. Let's take a gander.
Black widow is sitting in the middle of the web. It's the fly she seeks. You may be her lover, but you never will recover, 'cause she ain't had a bite for weeks. You think you're the same 'cause you got the same name, but the widow has a mobile home. Remember what I told you? She got 8 arms to hold you, and she's never gonna let you roam. She tuck you in the bed and truck on your head, then she'll wrap you as a midnight snack. So if you see a spider, don't you sidle up beside her. Why'd you think the widow's wearing black? You, queen bee baby, pray that you may be left on your own. Not that she'll give you or outlive you, but the queen bee's never gonna be alone.
Yes.
The movie's all downhill after that. I just leave at that point.
Then she does everything, which you also wrote, which I love.
No, I know she does have everything. You're right.
Thank you. And by the way, Rupert Holmes is also obviously a talented performer. Here he is doing a wonderful monologue, which is normally sung but turned into a monologue.
So I waited with high hopes, and she walked in the place. I knew a smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. It was my own lovely lady. And she said, "Oh, it's you." Then we laughed for a moment. And I said, "I never knew that you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, then you're the love that I'm looking for. Come with me and escape."
Yeah.
That was solid gold. I told them, if you're only paying me scale, I'll only sing the choruses. You don't get the you don't get the verses. I'll talk the verses.
It's the monologue. Just on a side note, Patty LaPook always talks about her Andrew Lloyd Webber swimming pool, which she got from her settlement. What's your pina colada like? Did you buy something amazing with some of that money?
I bought a house. I bought a house in Tenafly where I wrote The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Oh,
Wow.
So it paid off for me.
Well, Rupert, we're here for Remember When. And of course, it's like I look at the Wikipedia page, like you wrote every episode except for a few, and those few that you didn't completely outright write, you came up with the story or you co-wrote it. How did the idea of Remember When come about?
It's a long story. So let me see how short I can get it, because I'm sure your viewers want to see the real stars. It's kind of interesting. AMC was a cable channel that showed old movies, and Ted Turner was supplying most of those movies. And one day he looked up and said, "Why am I giving them to AMC? I'll have my own AMC called Turner Movie Classics."
Right.
He pulled all the films, and suddenly AMC had no programming. And they said, "Well, we've got to do some original programming. Number one, we can't afford anything, but it also has to be period so that it will blend in with the movies that we're showing. But we can't we can't make our own movies. We can't put those up against Busby Berkeley and Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers." And so Howard Meltzer met with them, the producer of Remember When, and they thought maybe something about radio. Howard knew that I'm obsessed with old radio, the golden age of radio. And he said, "Do you have a take on it?" And I said, "Try and stop me." And 3 days later, you had Hillary Booth and Jeff Singer and Betty Roberts and Victor Comstock and Mr. Foley. And after I wrote the pilot, I thought, I started to write the second episode. I thought, I don't know that I have a second episode in me. I put everything into this pilot. I wonder if I can do it. I ended up writing 55 episodes. And for my reward for doing that, I got to write all the music, the underscore, and all the jingles and the songs that they sang. And we had a great singing cast. So it was the best job of my life, not only aesthetically, but there were no commercials. There was no laugh track. I could write an episode 28 minutes long without having an artificial cliffhanger, to keep people around during the commercial. I could just tell the story the way I wanted. 28 minutes without a commercial interruption almost feels like a movie. Right. And so I just wrote and I was writing basically Lend Me a Tenor noises off every week for 55 episodes. And wow. AMC was new at this. This was their first series. And so they would come to me with notes on my script, and they'd say, and I'd say to them, "These notes are wonderful notes. Unfortunately, we filmed that episode 2 days ago." And
is that true?
Or is that
the way to get rid of them?
But the scary part was that some days, because it always came back to me having to come up with a script where we couldn't get one from another writer, there were days literally, and you'll understand about this, where I sat down on a Thursday to write an episode that would be filmed on a Monday. And I could not get writer's block. I had to find ways to make sure that I had an episode we could shoot.
That's so inspiring, though. I love it. It's like you just say to yourself, "I can't have writer's block." And would you just like type and go, "I'll throw this out if I hate it"? Like, how would you force yourself to write?
I got very lucky. I'm not comparing myself to Shakespeare, but he and I, we did do a musical together, 12th Night in Central Park. Bill's a great guy, good lyricist. William Shakespeare, I'm referring to. Shakespeare knew the people for whom he was writing. Most of his plays were written for a company that he personally knew and had seen do other plays of his. And it got to where I knew these characters, and not only these characters, but these actors as they brought these characters to life so well that I sometimes felt like a stenographer. I would just create a situation and I'd sit there and say, well, Betty will say this, Scott will say that. And I would type and laugh in surprise at the things that Hillary would come up with. I go, she's great. And so while they didn't write themselves, and there were times where I had to just force an issue, the one thing I learned was you have to sometimes think as a writer, don't think what can I write, what can I invent? Think, what would these characters really actually do given the circumstances? And they'll often take you where you have to go. So I had the greatest repertory company in the world, this incredible cast and the guests that we were blessed to have.
Well, Rupert, that's a great segue.
Hold on, I want to just qualify. Sorry,
yes, Seth, go.
You were called out as a liar. Kevin O'Rourke claims Rupert never wrote a 28-minute episode. They were all at least 35 minutes long, and we had to talk really fast.
And on that note, let's bring on the cast because there may be some other challenges to Mr. Holmes. So let's bring them out. Seth, let's bring out Betty Roberts, Amanda Naughton, right down there.
God, my old pal. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. All right. And
hi, Rupert.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
Speaking of Hillary Booth, let's bring out Melinda Mullins.
Oh, honey, you're
right
just
there.
pointing. Okay.
Right there. Well, you can look. There you go. There you go. Hi, Melinda.
Hey, how are you? Hi, Amanda. Hi, Rupert.
Hi, Melinda.
The Grand Dame.
Yes. All right. Station manager number 1, because there were 2 station managers, John Bedford, Lloyd, otherwise known as Victor Comstock.
Hi, John Bedford, Lloyd.
Hi, guys.
Hi, JBL.
It is wonderful to see you guys.
Oh, wonderful to see you.
Thanks for coming back from the BBC.
All right, the challenger himself, Scott Sherwood, otherwise known as Kevin O'Rourke.
35 minutes.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello, everyone. Rupert, great to see you.
Great to see you.
We know the following guest, the following character or castmate as Julia Murney's dad, but you may know him as Chris Murney, otherwise known as the man of 1,000 voices, Mackie Blue. Right, Chris?
And we all have glasses on. That's great.
What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
Next, we go from the man of 1,000 voices to the man with no voice.
Oh.
But here he doesn't have a voice. He has a voice. Tom Beckett, Mr. Foley.
Tom. Hey, Tom.
Rupert, can I talk?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I miss you all.
Keep in mind, this is an incredible world premiere here, Seth and James, because many of the viewers of Remember When have never heard Tom Beckett's voice before. This is the first time that a WENN gathering probably has ever had that chance. Do you have anything like Shakespeare you can do, Tom?
Any what?
Any Shakespeare, maybe Hamlet or something?
No.
Everybody is freaking. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone is freaking out. Okay. Who's next?
All right, let's bring out. We have the 2 remaining are Broadway veterans. We have Mary Stout, aka Eugenia,
the wardrobe herself. Hi, Mary Stout.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Exactly. She's playing the organ, but here's your competitive organ player.
That's right.
She stepped in and took your gig. Please welcome the Beltress herself, Carolee Carmello.
Hey, hey.
Hi, Carolee.
Oh, my God. Look at all these gorgeous faces.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like we're viewing the classic episode where Betty wonders if she'll still be working at Remember When in 1952. And the makeup job has been fantastic. You guys are totally looking
Okay.
Okay, you know what I forgot? We forgot to tell people where to donate. Go to starsinthehouse.com, and if you want one of these cast members or Rupert Holmes himself to read the donation,
Or Mr. Foley.
That's right. They may all be
Oh,
Mr.
that
Foley.
would be a good one.
Go to starsinthehouse.com. You'll get your receipt from the Actors Fund, and then you'll forward it to donations@starsinthehouse.com. And I also forgot to mention, because there's so many guests here, we have Betty Buckley, who was on the special Christmas episode, I think the second season. She's going to be on at the tail end of the show. And in about 10 or 15 minutes, we have Dr. Jon LaPook, our chief medical correspondent, and who moonlights as the chief medical correspondent of CBS News. Seth, we are here for, of course, the Remember When reunion, but there's also another reason why we're here.
Yeah, my birthday is February 28th. Rupert, when is your birthday?
Where Melinda is, it's right now. It's tomorrow.
Oh,
well, right now.
Then that's a good enough reason
Yeah.
to say happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rupert.
Oh, look at this.
I didn't have a hat. I didn't have a birthday hat, but I had a couple of masks I put on.
Kevin, look.
Oh, I like Chris's.
Yes.
Thank you for the
Carolee.
Rupert's British heritage here with the tricolor.
Tom has Carol Channing's wig.
No, this is my grandmother's wig that she bought for her birthday.
Carolee, that's a cake?
Rupert, make a wish and blow really hard. I'm in New Jersey.
Hey, Rupe. Okay.
Carolee, I didn't see that. That's wonderful.
Happy birthday, Rupert.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Rupert.
Wow. Thank you.
And that's the thing, Rupert. I told a little white lie because Teresa not only arranged to Remember When, but she was like, we need to do something special for Rupert's birthday.
And she came up with the idea. She was
yes.
We're like, what would be the most special reunion? And she said, Remember When. So
Absolutely. This would be my dream of who I'd be gathering with. Absolutely.
Because
most of us haven't seen each other for like 20 years.
Wow.
I've been lucky. I've gotten to work with most everybody once or twice at least. Just Kevin, we did some readings. Carolee and I have done 2 readings. We were almost going to do a show. We were almost going to do First Wives Club. You remember that? But I haven't seen Melinda in almost 25 years, right?
Wow.
And Chris, you and I have not worked. We've talked, but not worked.
No.
And Tom did a thriller with me with Kathy Lee Gifford, by the way. You were mentioning how you mentioned her on the lead-in.
Well, Rupert, we have a lot to cover here, but since you brought her up, we've got a few birthday wishes for you, and here's one of them.
Hey, Rupert, happy birthday, my darling friend. I was just thinking about you the other day and thanking God for you. You are so special, and you always remember things. You always remember dates and events and celebrations. You're so much better at it than I am. But for this one, I'm here. Coming to you from not my home, but a friend's house in Nashville, and where I'm discovering all kinds of beautiful people and wonderful projects. But I miss you. I think of you so often, and with great tenderness in my heart for you, Rupert. You're one of the best people I have ever met in this whole business. I adore you. Much love to you and happy day.
Aww.
Okay.
That's something.
Very nice.
Show you.
Thank you. Well, this has been some scam. This is a Scott Sherwood scam, I think, definitely.
Well, there you go.
We want to show.
Would you look at the time?
We want to show a clip from the show for a particular reason. Should we show the clip first, honey?
Sure, go ahead.
Remember this, people?
Hillary, this is Betty Roberts, our new intern.
Hello, Betsy. I'm Hillary Booth, of course.
I saw you on Broadway, Miss Booth, in The Rivals. My family went on vacation to New York
Rivals?
once.
Oh, that was years ago. You couldn't have been more than a freshman in high school.
Junior high, actually.
Oh, how very young of you. Jeffrey, isn't it wonderful she's come to us while all her enthusiasm is still unhampered by diplomacy or tact?
Melinda, how much fun did you have doing that?
Best fun of my life. Best project I ever did, and I loved it to bits.
Those line readings,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Well, you saw a very handsome gentleman there.
Hugh O'Gorman.
And he wanted to say something. He can't be here.
Hello to Rupert and all my colleagues. Jeff Singer reporting in from Los Angeles. Happy birthday, Rupert. What a joy it was, what a gift it was to work those many years ago together on such a special and unique and groundbreaking show. What a gift to have it all back on the air on AMC Plus and revisit the work we did together. And what a gift it is today to help celebrate you on this, your day. Sorry I can't be there with you in person, but my spirit, my energy, and my light is radiating from LA. Bon anniversaire, mon ami. Happy birthday.
Aww.
Well done.
Love it.
Well done.
So the amazing thing about the show now is that if you didn't catch it on AMC, you can catch it on AMC Plus. It's streaming.
No
it was so
shit.
easy for us to watch it. It was just like, oh, we have AMC Plus, and we just watched the show. So
And
if you didn't see it the first time, you can watch it now.
It looks really good. The grain holds up. They've done some kind of upscale on the resolution, and it's never looked like this before, even in its first run. And
Wow.
and by the way, they have closed captioning, and unlike any other closed captioning that I see on TV, they get my dialogue right. When you watch BritBox, they mangle every British phrase because it's someone in Queens who's never heard of anything British before, and they get that right. So it's just gorgeous to look at, and a blessing. And I think as of tomorrow night, every episode we did will be up there to see. They've been doing one season a week, and it looks just great. And they're doing the fourth season tomorrow.
So, Rupert, will we be seeing a big check coming our way in the next couple of months? Or?
How about that?
Some things never change, Kevin.
Yeah, it's in the mail, babe. In the mail.
Buyout, sweetie, buyout.
So you know what? Because there's so. What's that, Carolee?
The show was so ahead of its time.
Oh, I know.
Well, Carolee, I'd love you to
Behind
describe
its
it.
time, but ahead of its time at the same.
Can you tell me what it was about?
Rebel, you look at the time.
The wonderful, yes. Well, you look at the time indeed. Yes, that was Scott Sherwood, his exit from every dilemma.
Yeah.
Oh, you look at the time.
Wait, should we talk about our two people that are gone? I think we should.
Yes, I think so.
They all had the same name, but they both had the same name, but they weren't related.
A lot of people thought they were because they often we're talking about Margaret Hall, who played Gertie the switchboard operator, who I would like to point out was Maggie Smith's cover in Lettuce and Lovage on Broadway.
Wow.
She was a class act. She played Gertie to a T, but she could be quite the dame. And she would, just a wonderful human being. And then George Hall, his last year on the planet, he was in Boys from Syracuse, directed by Scott Ellis.
Yes.
And the show closed, and he died a week later. And all the people in the cast said, if the show had kept running, he would have kept living.
Sure.
He kept living.
He had
George Hall. George Hall had one of the.
I saw George Hall in the original Julie Andrews Cinderella in 1957.
Wow.
And when I did a reading of Act 1 of The Mystery of Edwin Drood, George Hall played Durdles in it. So his career just was a line through show business, and he was just a beautiful man. And I'd like to mention also is Bob Dorian, who was such a lovely presence for us, and he was very vital to us because he shoehorned the audience that knew him as being the the face of AMC, and suddenly the face of AMC, who introduced all these old movies, was in our episode. And it's almost traveled through time with him. So I miss those three performers so much.
George's line, understood completely, is still alive, and therefore he is still with us.
Absolutely.
Kevin and I will often speak about things that matter, and when the conversation's over, it often is ended with understood completely.
Understood.
And so every time those words are spoken, George reappears.
In episode 1, he turned to you, John, and said, "You're going to drive me to an early grave." And you said, "I don't think that's mathematically possible."
Rupert, I mean, I know I speak for all of us. The words were extraordinary, and we don't. The best words I've ever spoken out loud to somebody else, and got paid to do it.
It was so extraordinary. Absolutely.
Just every day was another linguistic treat.
Occasionally, when someone else would step in and write for us, which was very rare, obviously, the lines they were just lines. And then when you rewrote them, they came from our mouths. They came from our characters. You understood who these people were so well, Rupert, that it was mind-boggling. The difference, it just they came to life because they were from the characters.
I just want to chime in that was one of the perhaps the only time in my career that someone actually wrote for me in a way that that I did. It was so easy to memorize. It was so easy to because Rupert wrote exactly for your character, and he understood your cadences and the way that you approach things. There's only one other time that it worked, and that was when Rupert very generously supported me and wrote a webisode for a wonderful little series called Art in Heaven, and I got to play. And he also, it was fabulous writing, and I miss it. I think it's why I don't work anymore.
If I can't say Rupert's words, I will not work.
I'm so glad I could do that for you, Kevin.
You did that for me
I
too.
never had any problem with his lines.
Do you remember, guys? Do you remember the days? Do you remember the days of appearing at 6 a.m. and going till 2, 3, 4 a.m. in doing 30 pages or more in literally 2.5 days? It was insane. I mean, it was gas. We were all young enough to get away with it, but it was crazy.
The women had to be there 2 or 3 hours earlier than that.
Yeah,
How did you
take that, John?
Wait a minute. How did you come in at 6?
What?
How did you get in at 6?
Because he had no hair. He didn't have to do anything.
We were I didn't either.
Do you remember the flood? Do you guys remember the flood?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
The flood on all the white marble. Anyway, it was but it didn't really matter because we were there to do wonderful stuff, so we didn't care.
It was 4 days, 1 camera film.
Wow.
30 pages. It was
4 days?
Yeah. Well, 3.5.
Well,
remember Juan Campanella sleeping in his chair? There was like 5 pages left to do, and he was just out in his chair.
Take a nap.
Juan, you have to direct now.
Do you remember LaPook freaking out with the producers at about 3 a.m?
What?
Oh. Yes.
It was a late week, and she had enough of it. And she went into that, and there were words coming out of her mouth that I have never heard in my life.
Who did this, Tom?
LaPook.
And on that note, Tom, we're going to take a medical break before you say anything else.
Okay, I'll get a glass of wine now. Okay.
Tom, Boy, let me tell you, when Tom speaks, he speaks. All right, Tom, we'll see you in a little bit. Carolee, Amanda, John, Kevin, and hold on, let's see. The birthday boy, Melinda, we'll see you in a minute. Mary, Mr. Murney, and please welcome to Stars in the House, Seth Rudetsky. We are going to bring on Dr. Jon LaPook.
Okay, just got the email.
Hey guys,
Hi, Dr. LaPook.
Did you rehearse that? That was in perfect.
That was pretty good.
You still got it. I like your haircut.
So
you know who did this? Kate Brecker Lear.
Wait a minute. She's still doing it. I know that she
the whole pandemic. She started off a YouTube video and she learned and I just did a shoot for CBS Sunday Morning and one for 60 Minutes, and this is the haircut. That's how much I trust her.
So does that mean like even post pandemic, you're just like Kate Lear's the one?
Yeah. Well, Kate Lear's the one no matter what, haircut or no haircut. But
that's right.
In addition to my love for her, she's really good at this, and she likes to do it. And I think it's a sense of accomplishment for her too. She
looks good.
An end, but it's not pandemic long. It's an hour or whatever, 45 minutes.
So good.
Okay, Dr. LaPook, you texted me or emailed and said that you just came back from a very important place. Please share with everyone what you can share about where you were and what you learned that can help us.
Yeah, so I'm just back from the National Institutes of Health, and I'm doing, without giving too much away, I'm doing a story for CBS Sunday Morning about long COVID. And the NIH has launched a major project. $1.1 billion was given and funded, something like that. And they're going to be studying 40,000 people.
Wow.
And they're accruing people. They're setting it up all over the country and trying to study, what is this thing which is happening with, people get the initial infection and then they seem to be over it a little bit, or they get better and then they have symptoms that go on for weeks and months and maybe even longer. It happens anywhere from 5 to 30% of the time. That shows you how little is known, that it's that big of a spread. We do think, again, waiting for data from Israel and other places, that if you get immunized, if you get vaccinated, that the risk goes down dramatically, but not to zero. We don't know exactly how much less, the risk, how much the risk is cut down. The symptoms are anywhere from fatigue, to brain fog. You can have chest pain, trouble breathing. And there are lots of theories, aches and pains. There are lots of theories about this. But one of the questions that I asked him was, now that this is being taken seriously, like very seriously, and I said, is it possible that whatever we learn from this is going to shed light on things like chronic fatigue syndrome and chronic Lyme, which really, which does not get the kind of respect it deserves. A lot of doctors sort of don't believe in it, and I think it's
all psychological.
And it's not, and we don't understand it. So if we don't understand it and we don't have a good treatment for it, a lot of people just sort of minimize it. But that's, I think it's important to maximize it. And one of the things he pointed out, the man who's heading this up is, and I so agree with him. Well, you know how important empathy is for me with the Empathy Project. He said, look, aside from all the pathophysiology of it, and that they're trying this treatment or they're going to try that treatment, and they're really studying, there are going to be different buckets, different types of symptoms get treated differently. But he said, you have to have empathy. We're 2 years into a pandemic, and even feeling, without having long COVID, I haven't gotten COVID. A lot of us are feeling lousy anyway, and we're ready for this to be done. So if on top of that you get COVID, and on top of that you get long COVID, there is going to be a psychological component of that. That doesn't mean it's psychological, but it's going to really gets people down. So they did a very interesting study just came out showing that how do you do biopsies? What you want to do is sadly look at autopsy data, the tissues of the people, and see what's going on, what's in the blood vessels, what's in the brain. But it's hard, can't do a brain biopsy easily when somebody is alive, and compare that to people who had COVID and got over it and were fine, and see what the difference is and look for clues. One clue is that you can do biopsies in one part of the body that I'm very familiar with as a gastroenterologist when people are alive, and that's the lining of the colon. Very easy to do it, and they have found virus in the lining of the colon of people who have long COVID symptoms.
Wow.
And the thought is maybe it's hiding away in parts of the body, and the immune system sort of it's smoldering and sort of it's you're feeling sick still because your immune system is still at war.
I see.
But there's all sorts of interesting things that people are trying. So there's some anecdotal evidence that people who have long COVID, some people have said that they feel better after getting the vaccine. And one possibility is it revs up your immune system enough to maybe clear out that little bit of virus that's left. So all of which is to say, for all of the people out there who have long COVID, stand by. If you can sign up for the study, they need people with long COVID and also people who had COVID and got over it and are feeling fine to compare them as the kind of the control group. So they'll be reaching out.
Where would they go, Dr. LaPook, for that?
You go to the NIH website, but right now, what he told me was they only have a small number of people enrolled because they're setting up centers all over the country. And there's a lot of logistics to just get it set up. So the problem isn't recruiting people right now. It's getting sort of their ducks in the order to do it. So stand by, watch for it. The last thing I want to say is I was just traveling, and I knew I was going to the NIH, so I was particularly careful. I didn't want to get COVID and bring that and infect the person who I was interviewing. So of course I tested with a PCR, and this morning before the interview, right before it, I tested with a rapid antigen and was negative. But on the plane, I was really careful, N95, and I have to say I even wore the little goggles because I just didn't want to take any chance.
Right.
And my word for everybody else out there is, with this disconnect where you're seeing the CDC saying, hold off, still wear the mask, local places are itching to get them off, everybody's doing their own thing. I'd like to empower people to just do what makes you feel comfortable. So even though there were people in places they weren't wearing masks, it doesn't matter. You wear an N95 or a KN95, you're going to be really well protected. And if you want to get that little extra protection, if you can wear the little goggles. But I would just like to empower people because there's a pressure now the other way. Oh, come on, what's the matter with you? We're just take it off. Take it off. Don't take it off until you're comfortable. And I'm going to be comfortable taking it off when the numbers come down more. And when Paxlovid or some other antiviral is readily available, so that if I do get it, I can lower the amount of virus that's there, because it does look like your risk of long COVID goes up when the amount of virus in your body goes up and the amount of inflammation goes up. So if you can get infected and then, take the medicine and lower the viral amount of virus, you have less of a chance, we think, we don't know, of getting long COVID. But that's not to scare people who are out there who got breakthrough infections, because you know what? Most of the people are doing very, very, very well. This is just for that unlucky person who's going to go on and get long COVID.
Sure. All right, Dr. LaPook, thank you so much for I know you just flew in and for doing the show. And we'll see you Saturday night when we have Vanessa Williams and Santino and Elizabeth Stanley and Ted Sperling for Anyone Can Whistle. We'll see you then.
And when's your birthday, Seth?
Monday.
Sorry, so I'll have time to see you before your birthday.
Yes. Before I turn 30. All
right, I'm going to practice.
There you go. That's right. We'll work something out, Dr. LaPook. All right. Bye. Have a good night. All right. Let's bring everyone back. We've got amazing donations.
Yeah, maybe bring it back one at a time so we can read the donations.
Sure. You want to bring on the birthday boy?
Yes, I want to bring on the birthday boy. And Tom, why don't you read this one? Let's bring on Tom to read the first one.
All right, Tom.
Tom, can you go to the private chat and look at...
you have to scroll up to where it says 821 and Jason put donation A.
And everyone can donate. You go to starsinthehouse.com. It all goes to the Actors Fund. Do you see donation A?
I'm looking for 821, who I'm sure is fantastic. 821, Jason Crispin.
Yes, he put down the donations. Yes.
For Margaret, dear Margaret. For Tom, much love to the entire cast and crew. Sell those barley futures. Hashtag WENNless crew. Thank you, Seth and James, for this event. Aaron from Florida, $30.
For the Actors Fund, yay! And now, should we bring up JBL? JBL, where are you?
Hold on, let's
John.
see. There we
Can
go.
You read the next one, John?
Hi, John. Donation B.
Yes. What am I looking for?
8:24 p.m. Are you in New York or California?
I am in New York, but I don't see anything that I'm supposed to read.
Are you on the iPad?
No.
Then go to the private chat.
Ooh.
I see a lot of fingers, terrifying spider fingers.
Or else we're gonna
Yeah.
Mr. Holmes.
You know what? I think you.
Yeah. Rupert, you want to read it?
Chat.
You got it? Okay.
8:24.
You have to scroll up, John. Scroll up
Scroll up.
Yeah.
to 8:24 p.m.
Arachnophobia.
Yeah, I'm so
Literally, this is
sorry.
scary.
I'm so sorry, guys. I am clueless. You might want to pass this on to some other person.
Rupert Holmes, Shlomo Markovich, read donation B. John's gonna like it.
I'm in the same problem here. I've got this. I've got it. I'm seeing 8:44. Oh, here we go. No, yes, we could do a
It's
whole
because, by
series.
the way, for everyone watching, this is because this cast is so close. It has been nonstop in the private chat. I would probably say everyone is having to scroll back about 40 messages
because they're just constantly writing to each other.
They're constantly writing to each other because they love each other. So,
Have,
all right.
have someone skillful at this read it, would you?
They're idiots. I'll do it.
Go, Tom.
To Rupert, thank you for the skilled word craft that rewarded close attention to the cast and guests. Thank you for inhabiting your characters so fully. I'd like to thank Rupert and all the cast for their generosity with fans. To JBL for the few weeks it was on the air. Hometown was my favorite television series. I'm on a sugar rush you wouldn't believe. Rodney from Maryland, 5150.
Yes. All right. Should we, Melinda, who's, by the way, because I am reading some of the private chat here. Melinda, you're coming to us all the way from France?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You are up late for Mr. Holmes. My
Yeah.
gosh.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Aw. Would you do you have access to the private chat here? Can you go to donation C at 8:20? Well, God, I don't even know what time it is where you are.
I will
What would
find
that be?
donation C. I'm scrolling. Donation C. Constantly grateful for the positivity you constantly put out into the universe. Mark from Massachusetts, $100. Speaking of
Yes,
positive,
Mark.
wow, thank you.
All right. Carolee, I'm going to bring you on to read donation D.
Hi, stars in the house. This donation is in thanks for reuniting the cast of a show I still love and adore. So do we after 30 years. A
Oh my
big
God.
hi to my old friends from the WENN chats and bulletin boards in the mid-90s. With thanks, Emily from Chicago, $103. Thank you, Emily.
Yes. All right. I'm going to bring on the rest of the cast here. Oh, Amanda, how about you? Will you read donation E there that Jason just
Yes. I was obsessed with this show when it was on the air when I was in middle school.
Ooh. How young of you.
There you go.
Over 20 years later, it remains my favorite show. I cannot thank you enough for this reunion, truly. Catherine from Ohio, $20.60. Thank you, Catherine.
Yes. All right. Let's bring back Kevin and Mary and Chris. And we have so many fun clips. Seth, I mean, I feel like we could be here for hours. So do you want to do clips right now? Questions? You want to do questions based on the clips? We have
Let's
so
just
many
show
fun
one clip
ones.
just to get people into the mode.
Oh, wait a
shall
minute.
we?
Okay, hold on. Before we get going on that, because I know we're going to be on a roll, there is a birthday wish, Rupert, that
I'll give you a hint who it's from.
There you go.
Oh.
John Kander.
Hi, Rupert. It's John Kander, one of your older friends. And I just wanted to wish you the happiest of birthdays. And as always, to wish that we were in the same room together or the same table together, but somehow under a little more than virtual. Anyway, we're sending you much, much love on your birthday and hope we see each other soon.
Yeah. Aw. So sweet.
So fantastic. Okay, so Amanda Naughton, I feel like I knew you before I knew anyone else in the cast. because we did. Do you remember years ago we did the reading of Thoroughly Modern Millie, and you were the first Millie?
What's? Yeah.
I remember very, very well.
That was, God, yeah, man. Yeah,
I want to show.
That's when we first met, I think.
Before
Yes.
Kristen? Before Kristen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was just a reading. It was a 1 week.
It was 1 week long. It was very different. It didn't have any original music, right? We only used music from the 20s.
Yeah.
Christine Ebersole was in it.
Do you remember who Mrs. Mears was?
It was Ebersole, wasn't it?
No, Ebersole was Muzzy. Mrs. Mears
She was Muzzy.
Mrs. Mears
Oh,
was
yeah, it
Edward
was
Hibbert.
It was Edward
In
Hibbert.
drag.
Right.
Hibbert.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it was just a 1 week long, and it was kind of extraordinary. Yeah, it was great, and that was the beginning of all of that.
It was so fabulous. I wanted to show the Beachery.
What do you
I
got?
want to show the Beachery between Amanda and Melinda. Spot this. Amanda, your final face is amazing, and Melinda, you got it going on.
You, Betsy, where is the rest of my script?
What? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Booth. I was buried in thought.
Yes, and I'm sure it was a shallow grave. But I only have the first 2 pages of Valiant Journey, and we're on in 5 minutes. Get me the rest of my script.
Rupert, how quickly can any one of us use that line?
I'm sure it was a shallow grave.
So, Amanda, how did you know that style? How did you know the His Girl Friday style so well?
Mainly just from watching those movies. His Girl Friday is clearly something that I love. Loved any farce whatsoever, and I just came very naturally to me. And one of the nice things about writing in period is that it never gets old. The show doesn't seem any older than it was when we did it.
Just like us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But hilariously, I was asking Amanda, who's 1,000 years younger, because I was like, Amanda, how did you know His Girl Friday? Let's be honest. Rupert, you were there when the movie came out. But Amanda, how did you know that style?
I grew up watching those movies and shows, and
Thank you, Dad.
Thanks to my parents. And my grandfather was a vaudevillian, so timing, if you didn't have good timing, you got thrown out of the house. So
Amanda's father was a big. What was it? Lum and Abner. Who was it that he loved so much? Your father.
Oh, my dad. He liked Bert. Not Bert and I. That's what was it? Oh, all those old radio programs. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now.
I was amazed how everybody on this screen here stepped into the roles on day one as if they were in this period and knew this style perfectly. Every single person, everyone knew it. And
Rupert, we're beating a dead horse here, but it was the words.
It was the words.
I mean, it really was. You couldn't say those words without talking a certain way, walking a certain way.
Yeah.
And it was the words,
It was you.
And I would just like to thank John Lloyd for getting a job on network television so that I actually
anytime, Kevin, anytime.
He was doing a puppet show, I think.
Well, Murney would go, so how's that
running off with the puppets? How you doing?
People think that a lot of the plot twists and the development in the through line of the series was based upon some inspiration I had. In point of fact, after the first 4 episodes, AMC had brilliantly not bothered to sign anyone for any further episodes. John became the star of a Muppets in Space. What was it called?
It was the bar was a little higher than that.
Yeah, well,
Muppets on Earth, Rupert.
There you go.
It was a job I could not say no to. Let me put it that way.
I understand.
The words were not quite as good as yours, however.
But the wonderful thing was.
Oh, Rupert was on
Oh, you
twice.
came on twice.
Rupert was on twice for some reason. Okay.
You're back.
All good. Go ahead.
That
This
was the
is
space
live.
show that John was on.
That was the
Somebody else take it because I'm not here.
Those are the aliens getting back at you.
Brilliant.
There you go.
But yes. So then I got to have two boyfriends.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wait a minute. So Rupert, to your point, John, is that why you left to go to the BBC? Was because you didn't have a contract to do the show? Is that what the story was?
No. I think there was they did not have us in an ironclad situation, I believe.
Okay.
So an opportunity presented itself so that I could have enough money to pick up my dry cleaning, and I took it despite Murney making a lot of fun of me, which did hurt, still stings a little bit, but afterwards, when that show died, I asked Howard. I just said, "Hey, is he? Am I really dead?" And apparently, I wasn't really dead. I got hit just on the side with an 8-inch cinder block, but it was just a grazing wound. And I just showed up again, and everything. I was very glad.
My story was that I was doing Jane Eyre in Toronto, and I left the show to do Jane Eyre in Toronto. And after we obviously opened to, I thought, really good reviews in Toronto, we didn't move forward. And I called Rupert, and Rupert said to me from the bottom of my heart, he said, "I see you walking in the door." And it meant the world to me so much that I was able to come back. And he wrote me right back into the show.
It was always planned that way. One of the great things that we had was that when John had another commitment, I sat with Howard, and he told me that if I could keep all of John's scenes, Victor Comstock's scenes, in one room with only one other actor at a time, we could get him on a Monday to come in and film just that day. And we kept John in the series for about 4 extra episodes. The Molly Ringwald episode, because you would come in and just shoot. I'd write you knowing, for example, in the mystery one that we did with Joe Grafassi, I had to have you leave to get some photographs developed, and then you're out of the episode until the last scene. I was always having to find ways to keep you in the show, make people know that you're there. Eventually, we just couldn't keep it up, and I said to the producer, I'm limited because I've got this romance that might be brewing between Betty and Victor, and he always has to be gone. So I killed you knowing that I would take you back the moment. And we spent a lot of time in the second season reminding the viewers that no one had ever pronounced on your body that God was building a monument to you, but there was no body to bury under the monument. I was just saying, we're just keeping that option open. Same thing with Mary. Mary had to go up to Toronto to do Jane Eyre. If you remember, Mary, what I did is I gave you a radio show on the station that started at midnight called the Octonaut Alert. And the impression was that you were always at the station, but you were just on the air from midnight to 6 a.m. Come season 3, the very first moment of season 3, it starts at midnight, and you walk in the door as if you had never been gone for it.
Yes. And Carolee had held my place. Yeah. Carolee had done the organ duty.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I saw that.
Did Scott Sherwood ever kiss Betty?
Betty?
No. Yeah.
Kiss?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Different remembrances.
Amanda, I'm heartbroken.
You guys
was on my reel for a long time.
They kissed, first of all, accidentally in the episode. Where the entire station was quarantined and they were on lockdown. That's pathetic. right?
Adorable.
But in the very last episode, Rupert, I don't you remember? I walk away and then I come back and I grab her and I go, oh, what the hell? And I
Oh, well,
and I
that's
kiss her.
true. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was in Who's Scott Sherwood.
Oh, what the hell?
I'm
Oh, what the hell?
It don't work. I'm
Just
teasing
a
you.
guy in a bar.
It's just
Yeah,
the
that
dog.
was
Foley and I married? Are we married?
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Foley and Eugenia, are they married?
Well, that's the brilliant thing that Rupert did was we talked about me talking on the show at some time. Look, all the time. We're like, can I talk? Can I talk?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. But, we decided I don't talk on the show. So when he falls in love with Eugenia, Rupert wrote a scene where Mr. Foley, and it's almost the end of the series, he uses semaphores to propose to Mary in the hallway. And I learned how to say, "Will you marry me?" in semaphores.
Oh my God.
Oh. Rupert, did you ever sleep?
No.
Yes,
Rupert, you were toying.
That's why Patty was mad.
You were toying with all of us at some point. You wrote these wonderful things for Maggie Bloom that was just, he was had a nice heart. He was warm. And then I find out that he was a getaway driver in a bank heist. You just pulled the rug out from under him. What happened?
But it was a good episode with you and Phil Bosco. I enjoyed that episode a lot.
Oh, that was a good episode.
The Star and Stripes Forever. Yeah. Well, I didn't sleep. There was an episode in season 4 called If I Die Before I Sleep.
Oh, yes.
Where we tried to set the record for how long you could be on the air without sleep. And that was a page out of my life. I wrote that entire episode in 72 hours without sleep.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not exaggerating. Really
So
did.
you titled
We're
it
not allowed
afterwards.
to sleep. No.
Hey, Rupert, can you make sure that Teresa gets everybody's email to everybody else, please?
Yes, I would like to.
Is everybody cool with that?
Very
Yes.
grateful to her.
Just
Absolutely.
make sure, because I don't have anybody's except Chris's and Kevin's, but if we can get everybody's to have everybody, that would be great. Thanks.
Very nice. That would be great.
Right.
And
That
then you
would
can
be
come
great.
visit.
Tom,
Yes.
Okay, when I looked at the clips, especially there's this one that Teresa sent of you. I think it's the pilot. I think it's the first episode. I can see why Rupert didn't write you any words because you do more than enough with your actions.
Let's listen to the river.
It's a good idea. Let's just sit here and listen to the river.
Just listen to that river.
So good.
Carolee, I want to talk about your sort of trampiness on the show that I'm obsessed with.
Carolee?
Yes.
Carolee?
And by the way, dim bulbness. Here we go. I love this line.
I just can't believe you're from Great Britain. Your English is really excellent. You hardly have an accent.
I'm pleased to hear that.
I'm pleased to meet you. You aren't by any chance a duke or a baron or anything.
No.
Why does the veil have to come down?
Peter Noon?
Yes.
Peter Noon.
My goodness.
Jesus Christ.
I've got to go to AMC Plus now.
That's right.
That was a Christmas episode.
Peter,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
I'm going to drop a ton of anthracite
I had
coal on
such
you.
a crush on him in high school. Oh, God.
There's a wonderful episode called A Girl Like Maple where where Maple, there's a backstory for it, why it happens, but she adopts a very cultured accent. And a congressman played by Boyd Gaines falls in love with her thinking she's a very respectable girl. And it's kind of like that Donald Duck cartoon where he gets the voice of Ronald Coleman. It's like Carolee was people had no idea that she wasn't this floozy by the yard, that Maple was Can you do that character still?
Well, I think she was a character in one of the radio plays, right? And Boyd Gaines' character walked in the middle of her doing that. Well, thank you all for being here today.
Yeah.
And it was very kind of breathy, and he assumed that was her real voice. And then at the end of the episode, she kind of reveals herself. And then doesn't he also admit that he's from Canarsie or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely not. That isn't how it is. He's a heel. He's a heel, and he dumps you, and you're consoled by Eugenia.
Right, but isn't he also a phony?
faker?
He may have been, I'm sorry. He may have been that. You're smarter than I am, Carolee, so you remember those things. You do. So yes, that may be it. What I remember is that he was a real heel in it.
Yeah.
But he has a Tony Award. Hey, Chris Murney.
Three Tony Awards.
And Kurt was
Okay.
3.
Yeah, whatever.
Awards mean nothing. That's what I tell my 3 sons, Tony, Tony, and Tony.
Right. Well, tell that to this Tony Award winner.
You're a special kind of people known as show people. Oh, Rupert, I am so thankful for the opportunity to have been in Curtains for so many reasons. But one of the biggest ones was meeting you, being able to say your brilliant, funny words, and becoming your friend. Thank God you were born, because you have given us all laughter and joy and made us think, made us cry, made us smarter, and made us grateful to be in the theater, both as artist and audience. It's no mystery that you are so beloved. Happy birthday, my sweet, sweet friend. I love you so much. Mwah.
Okay.
God, she looks so good.
Doesn't Deb Monk look
It is like every year she looks younger and younger.
Younger.
Right, Mary? That's what I was just saying.
I wish I'd produced my video like that instead of looking like this.
Holy cow.
Instead of doing this live thing, Kevin, you just like do a video and be done with it.
Deb really looks like that. She gets
I
young
know.
She looks great.
Johnny.
It's Deborah Monk.
All right. So Chris Murney, I want to ask you something.
Good. Thank God you were born. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Chris Murney, they have you do Shakespeare. I really know you was Julia's dad. Are you actually are you a Shakespearean actor, or did you just haul it out for that episode because it's so good?
No, that's what I studied that in school, and that's ended up over in Germany with the Stuttgart. That was with La Mama. We went over to Germany, did the Stuttgart Shakespeare Festival, messed around with that. So I did that, but there was no money in it at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Not like Chris, you worked with La
But
Mama?
speaking of Julia Murney's dad, there is a Studio 54 show this Friday and Monday, starring with Julia Murney. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a shame.
Okay.
What a good dad.
We're obsessed. Yeah, Julia said she has rehearsal, but I wanted her to watch. Here is your Stuttgart training.
Yes?
You once said something to me. How did it begin? Oh, never say that I was false of heart.
Faults of Heart. It's a sonnet by Shakespeare.
Well, let me hear it now, Philip.
Oh, never say that I was false of heart. Though absence be my flame to qualify, as easy from myself might I depart.
Yes, Chris Murney.
Well, it was a lovely time, wasn't it?
Okay. That's called underplaying it.
Yes.
Chris Murney, when you were in Mac and Mabel, one of my favorite shows, did you have an actual singing solo?
Yes. Yeah, well, it wasn't a solo. No, I was. I believe Julia still knows the one line. I'm going to buy myself a Pierce. I'm going to buy myself a Pierce Arrow and sing to all the pains in the street. I think that was it.
Let's see.
It's the big time of our life.
I'm gonna buy myself a Pierce Arrow and wave to all my fans in the streets.
Man, you guys do your research.
Well, you do your research.
Julia texted me. I asked her. I was like, Julia, what was his solo? She texted me. So thank you, Julia.
Okay, before we go into other stuff, we got
I just worked with Chris's son.
That's right.
It's a talented family.
He's great. He is great. He was great, Chris. He was really great.
Patrick has worked with John.
Go forward. Yes.
Well, let's Kevin, would you read skip donation F for right now, because I think we'll have Betty Buckley read that one. So go to donation G if
in the private chat.
In the private chat.
Ignore all the private conversations you've been having while you're talking. And go to donation G.
Wait a minute. There's a lot of this private chat. Melinda Mullins looks fabulous. What else is in there?
It's at the bottom.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
Donation G?
Yes,
Donation
sir.
G.
It was sent at
G
9:09.
as in grateful?
It's the second one.
Yes.
Donation G. My brother and I are 10 years apart. Remember When was the only show we agreed on. We built the sets out of Legos and still reference the satanic Santa every Christmas. Thank you for this reunion. Betty from Michigan, $103. Can I just say that I just want to support and say what a wonderful thing the Actors Fund does, and what you're doing is wonderful. So thank
Absolutely
everyone.
amazing. Thank you guys.
We love
Thank
it.
you.
We love it.
Thank you so much, Seth and James.
Now, can you talk to SAG? Sorry, just kidding.
Melinda, would you read donation H?
Donation Ash.
Oh, Ash.
En français.
There we
En
go.
français. Merci, Rupert Holmes and the Remember When cast. Being from Pittsburgh, I loved that the show was set in the Burgh. Thank you, Barb, 2575.
Merci.
Merci.
That was donation E, by the way. So donation H. Who left? Who
That
has
was
red? What about you, Chris Murney?
That was I. That was I.
H.
That was I. We're gonna do H. Ash.
Oh, H. Thank you so much for hosting Rupert and these fabulous actors. I boycotted a certain cable channel when they canceled the show. And I don't feel like I missed much anyway, as they moved away from classic movies without commercials and never looked back. My mom and I still loved When, all these years later. Jennifer from Chicago. Thank you, Jennifer, 5150. Bless you.
I love the honesty.
Chris, could you do it again with just a little bit of a smile?
Have fun with it. Have fun with it.
Just put a little bit of a giggle in there, could you? Just for the clients. Just
Not
for
to
the
be
clients.
saccharine about it.
Voiceover artist. Now, Kevin, I know that not everyone earned a lot of money on Remember When. But Kevin,
But the residuals were insane.
Yeah,
That's one of the great stories of all time. Is when the first time when one of the episodes replayed, and somebody brought up, said, "What about the residuals?" And AMC had never paid residuals.
Never.
Because all they showed was movies pre-1960, which weren't liable for residuals. So when they had to pay us residuals, it almost booted the pooch. You had a question.
They actually the first two seasons, my credit is developed by.
Oh my God.
And finally, the Writers Guild called them and said, "What's developed by? What, we don't know that term. What do you mean?" Because it sounded like I had a photo mat in my back. I was processing the film, and
reference.
They would have had to give me some proper. So it was. I don't get a created by credit until the third season. At that point.
Hey, Melinda.
Yes.
How's France?
Oh,
God, we're not talking about Melinda's
Thank you.
personal
It's
life.
dark. I'm not sure. It's great.
Look outside your window.
It's late,
delightful?
John. It's late.
It's very late. It's delightful. Wonderful.
Good.
Yes. Is that all, John? Anything you want to visit?
No, it's all on you, Melinda. I was just because
Trying to
we
fast
miss you.
ball, were you?
You guys, we can do a breakout room for you too if you want.
Exactly, Kevin. Exactly. Thank you.
My point is, because there wasn't a lot of money, remember when? Sadly, apparently, Kevin, you are still scrounging even when you do a web series.
That was harmless. Oh, there you are. Thank you very much. You know, am I correct that there's no financial remuneration or drink tickets? Maybe a goodie bag? No? Okay, well, that's perfectly okay. Absolutely fine. Thanks again. Pleasure. Out this way, right? Okay. I guess I'll get a cab. No, maybe the bus. I was kind of hoping for a car, but I guess it's low budget.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice, Kevin.
It's amazing what's amazing what the interweb has out there, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, I think it is because Carolee. You don't remember when, but my favorite TV appearance of yours, Carolee, was not Remember When. It was.
Geez.
Oh, yes. You know what we're going to show, Carolyn.
Who will it be? Will it be the lovely Carmello family? Your family is from
Albany, New York.
Albany. You tell everybody who you brought.
My baby brother John.
Yes. Right.
My wonderful father Bill.
Right. Yes.
My gorgeous mother Judy.
Yes.
And my fabulous sister-in-law Nancy.
You've come all the way.
We're here to win.
$35,000 could be yours if you defeat that family. And you defeat the winner of the two families that will play on our next show. Right now, let's.
I gotta say, toothbrush. You leave your toothbrush at someone's house, and they want it out of their bathroom.
Okay, let me just. It could be there. So you're saying that when you break up with someone, that they might return your toothbrush to you. And if it's been a really nasty breakup, I wouldn't use it again because you don't know what they've done with this toothbrush before they bring it back. Sometimes they clean the house real well with it. Get the porch. Would it be a toothbrush?
Oh my God! Oh,
had to do that.
How old are you?
Oh, look at the time.
What was the answer?
Yeah. What was the answer?
I don't remember.
Carolee, how old were you?
Oh, I don't know, 27 maybe. It was before Remember When. I was.
I love it.
We could see everybody's face as you were watching it. Everyone was going. Mary was going. No. Kevin, yes, on your face.
We did pretty well. We made it to the Tournament of Champions.
That's amazing.
And my brother and I played the bonus round, and we won twice, which was pretty exciting.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Could you tell me how do you get on now? Can you get on now? Is it still the possibility?
Kevin, save that for the breakout room. Okay.
One more.
Yes, Seth.
You know, Mary Stout has not only done lots of Broadway shows, she is in a musical that is playing around the country at all times.
They do. It's just another cautionary tale about eating shrimp outdoors. Oh, did you hear that Mary Stout got hit by a hot dog cart? What? Oh my God, is she okay? Well, I think so, yeah. Drag queen stealing shrimp? Mary Stout hit by a hot dog cart. It's all.
That is from title of show.
What can I say? It's a true story.
Well, listen, I have our title of show creator here. Right here, Hunter Bell.
Hi, Seth. It's Hunter Bell here. I hear there's a special episode of Remember When tonight, and I would like to honor and do a shout out and lots of love to one of the most talented actors I know. Hi, Mary Stout. It's Hunter Bell. Mary was very generously immortalized in the Broadway show titled Show. There was an incident with a hot dog cart, and I'll let her share her version too, but...
Mary, what happened?
Okay, well, I came out of the stage door at the Lunt Fontaine, And it was about 7 o'clock, and I was walking toward 8th Avenue, and I was rammed in the lower back by the short end of the hot dog cart. So, and it did flip me over, but I started screaming and yelling, "Stop them! Stop them!" So it was a runaway hot dog cart. And I think some stage crew from moving out stopped them down at 8th Avenue, but whatever. I was hit in the lower back, which was, of course, 6 months after my back surgery. So it was a little bit.
Oh my!
He just didn't see me. It was the hot dog end. You know what I mean? With the Anyway,
you got to watch that hot dog end.
I was okay, but I was screaming, "Who hit me?" It was pretty dramatic. But
what? No crowd?
What? No crowd? Well, the crowd was on that end. It was, but he should not have been going down the sidewalk. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
It's really scary when you realize the most thing you're famous for is that you were hit by a hot dog cart.
No, you're also famous for the best reaction shots, even silently, not since Foley, the best reaction shots.
On the next Remember When,
What do you think this country is fighting for?
war is in the air,
Life, liberty, and the right to do silly radio programs.
leading us to battle our emotions.
Will you be my wife?
Did you see what he just said?
Bye, Benny.
Don't miss the unforgettable season finale.
Scott, you're in the army now. Give him a hearty welcome then, hurrah!
AMC's original series, Remember When. All new episode, Friday, 10 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific.
Yes. Well, we've got a few more donations. Believe it or not, it's getting on the late side, and we still have a special guest star that we need to bring out here. So, who wants to read? There's donation J. That's really sweet. Amanda, you want to read that? And there's another one right after that.
Shall I read, Jay?
Sure.
Thank you so much for this reunion. My question is, what would have happened in the fifth season? From Jules.
Oh, what the fuck happened?
Rupert?
That's the question. What happened?
JB
got a little bit too much.
And the last time we heard from John.
Exactly. So,
John,
Rupert, you're
is
the
that
only
a
one who
hot
can
dog
answer that
cart?
question.
What would have happened in the fifth season, Rupert?
Where'd everybody go?
I think the really good show is John Bedford Lloyd down there.
How about this? We'll let him figure it out, and Rupert, you tell us.
Okay, so
it's legal in New York now.
There was some noise. Was the question about where the cliffhangers were going? Is that what we were talking
Yes.
about?
What would have happened in the fifth season?
As it happens, I know that one of the burning questions amongst WENN fans, and I want to thank Linda Young and James Young, who've had the greatest Remember When webpage since the beginning of the show, the most skewed, and also Eric Linder, who's been doing some wonderful work to find great clips. But a lot of what I did was in the very last episode of season 4, we never knew at the end of each season if they were going to renew us. And I always put in a cliffhanger the way Scheherazade did, telling those 1001 Nights, thinking they're going to have to renew us because they can't leave it like this. So I was nervous on the 4th season, and I put 3 cliffhangers in the last episode of that season because I thought they would never, ever, AMC would never let me put in these 3 cliffhangers and then not go on with the show. They couldn't do that. And of course, they did that.
They did.
Yeah, they did. So one of the questions I'm most asked is, where was Betty? Was Betty going to choose Victor or Scott? And I gave a very strong hint to my answer to that question, actually, in an episode called You've Met Your Match that season. And I sent to Kevin O'Rourke and to Carolee the lines they exchanged in that scene. They were by a water cooler and they had a private exchange. Maple LaMarche and Scott Sherwood always had a kind of they talked straight to each other. And I asked them if they would be willing to just read this exchange so that the viewers could see where I was going with that. Okay? Is that okay?
Amazing. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Didn't work.
There's a lot of hysteria online, and someone is quote unquote going to donate $1 million. Scott or Victor?
Well, we're going to hold you to that because you're going to find out. It's actually Kevin O'Rourke. Scott Sherwood leads with his line.
Mates, I'm playing out the worst poker hand any player has ever been dealt. My opponent, a man I respect and admire, is returned from the dead to the jubilation of all who missed and mourned him. He's a war hero before we even gone to war. Betty Roberts is now working alongside the man she reveres, a man who knows more about most everything under the sun than I do. And to top it off, I like the guy. This is what I'm up against.
Victor doesn't stand a chance, does he?
That's what makes this country great, Maple.
So I would have milked.
I love it.
I would have milked the triangle between Scott and Victor and Betty for at least a season, and there was so much mileage to be gained out of that. But if you have a wonderful human being like Betty Roberts, and she has a great affection for this idealistic, visionary pioneer in radio, but she's also met this absolute scoundrel who has no principles whatsoever and will stoop to anything and is clearly madly in love with her. We know how the movie Casablanca ended, but we really wanted Ingrid Bergman to be with Humphrey Bogart. So, Victor probably, no offense to you, JBL, but Victor probably would have gotten involved in Voice of America and some other great causes that would have taken him away from the station. And Scott, there's a wonderful moment at the end of Popping the Question. I've mentioned this to you, Kevin, before. Betty says something to you about, I guess I'm just that kind of girl. You've only known her for like 2.5 episodes. And there's this flicker in your eye. And it's the moment when I knew that you were in love with Betty, that Scott was in love with Betty. And from that moment on, it sort of was, forget it. That's why Kevin was shocked that anyone would ask, did Betty ever kiss Scott? Because they had quite a passionate kiss at the end of Who's Scott Sherwood.
I try to block that out.
We've got some more donations here before we say goodnight.
Somebody has to read donation M. I'm sorry.
So Tom, would you read donation K?
Oh, there you go.
And then Amanda, you follow that with donation L, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And Mary, you can do donation M.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, Tom.
Happy birthday, Rupert. Thanks to you and the entire cast and crew for giving us the wonder that is Remember When. Thanks, Carrie from New York, $36. Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
Hey.
Amanda.
Hi, everyone. You were such an inspiration to me. I now write, direct, act in, and edit a dramatic podcast that's an homage to the old radio shows. And the brilliant writing and ensemble magic of Remember When was a huge factor to getting it started. Valerie from Los Angeles, $25.
That's great.
But thank you.
And Mary, you want to read the
donation M. I carried VHS tapes of WENN to college and duct taped my roommates into chairs to watch it. But very quickly, I became the local dealer for the show, which was not available at our school for still introducing friends to the show today. Thank you so much for doing this reunion. This is still one of my top favorites of all viewing time. Laura, $25. Isn't that nice?
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Such amazing donations. You have such wonderful fans. And by the way, there's another video from a fellow cast member who could not make it here tonight.
Hi, Rupert. When Teresa reached out for the surprise tribute for you, I was thrilled. I also was chagrined because I knew I wasn't going to be able to participate in real time, so I'm sending this message. And although this is not real, what I'm about to say is there's two stories I like to tell people about you from having met you. One is I remember when we stopped a table read for you to save a grasshopper during Remember When. And that speaks a lot to the kind of person you are, the kindness within the person you are. And the other is I met you for 5 minutes in the green room on the set of Remember When, and the next thing I know, you wrote me into your show. And that means everything to me. So I'd go on longer, but this would probably just evolve into me chatting about my daughter. So bless you. Thank you.
Aww.
PJ, love him.
He grew up.
Yeah.
He grew up, yeah. He did.
You got older.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
wow.
Luckily we didn't. That's good.
We didn't.
No.
Not like that.
Amanda.
Wow.
Wow, that was sweet.
I think we lost Amanda.
But that means we have an extra spot on the screen.
Right. So, Amanda's computer bumped her. She's going to be right back. So, you know what? Hold on, because we have Betty Buckley waiting in the wings here, and
we
we're
can't
gonna
bring her on, but everyone's on screen.
Right. So
You can bump me. You can bump me to bed. You want to bump me to bed?
I gotta
In a
run
nice
too.
way.
Melinda, then before you go, could you read the donations? Keep coming in. It's incredible. Before
I'll read anything you want.
It's amazing you came here from France. It's so kind that you stayed up so late.
I just flew in and my arms are killing me.
You must be exhausted. I'm such a fan of yours. Every line reading was perfect on the show. But anyway, let me
Could you read donation O?
Okay. Many thanks to all the WENN crew, WENN crew from Indiana, home of Moosehead or Elkhart. Our family watched WENN from the beginning and loved the intelligent writing, me too, and great ensemble work. Kudos to all. Lawrence from Indiana, 5150.
Nice.
Thank you, Melinda. You go to bed. We love you so much in America.
Love you.
Hi, Melinda.
Hi, Melinda.
All right, Seth, you want to bring on our special guest?
Yes, just like on the episode, we were waiting for a special guest, and then she
That's
actually.
right.
Oh wait, what the hell?
Wait
is
a
this?
minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
There's an ice storm in Texas, and she kept being bumped off.
And so we just saw her backstage, and Jason Crespin, who's helping us tonight with tech, he's working with her. But you know what, Seth?
I have another clip.
Show another clip.
Let
But
me
we
first show
also have,
Amanda.
but you know what though? We do have another birthday video.
I want to first show.
You want
I
to show
want to first show
Amanda?
that Amanda kept pursuing musical theater, which I love.
I love this
I love
video.
your placement on the sustained note, Amanda.
Born on this farm, here's our house. Here's the spot where you died. I can draw a circle. I can draw a circle. You lived your life inside.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Run home.
That was Rob Meth on the piano.
So good.
Wonderful. Beautiful, Amanda. That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Did you get to sing on the show, Amanda, ever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best, one of my favorite songs I ever wrote was "I Gotta Sing or I'll Die." I gotta sing or I'll die.
I love that song. Yeah, I sang on the show. Carolee sang on the show a bunch. And then on the episode,
Holly's episode, we all sang. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my computer died, so I had to plug it in.
And I want to say your audio is amazing. Want to check that? I'm going to show a birthday wish to Mr. Rupert Holmes.
Rupert, it's Scott. I'm in the middle of rehearsals. I'm not a costume designer. I happen to be in the costume room. But I just wanted to tell you happy, happy, happy birthday. I've told you this many times. I am never happier than when I'm in a room with you working. So just sending you so much love. And again, happy birthday. How was that?
I don't know. I feel like you could have done it again. Also, when you said you've never been happier in a room with Rupert, that's like literally what you've said to me. So I just want to say happy birthday to you, Rupert. But we have to actually come to grips with the fact that our friend Scott's a liar.
Happy birthday anyway. Love you.
Okay, that is so funny.
Scott Ellis, who I have said that Scott Ellis is not my favorite person in theater. He is my favorite person in the whole fucking world. And I just adore him. It's just, he did. These are both Scott Ellis shows over here. Mystery of Edwin Drood Revival, and that's
Wow.
comments and posters for curtains.
Back in a minute.
And he, as I said, he directed our George Hall in the last show that George Hall ever did on Broadway.
I have to mute somebody. Kevin O'Rourke, you go to your family dinner. We're
Thank you,
wrapping up.
Kevin.
I gotta run, gang. Sorry.
I'm talking
Love
to
you,
you.
Rupert. Love you. Miss you.
Kevin.
Love you.
All
Love you.
right. Thank you, Seth and James. What a blast.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin. All right, look, before we go, because I think Betty's iced out.
Oh, but wait a minute. There's another donation here.
Oh, yeah, we have another donation.
Why don't we have Rupert? Can you go to the private chat?
I'm ill-equipped. I'm sorry.
All right, Carolee.
Carolee, will you read it
Yes.
for?
Here's the deal.
Donation
to the very
P as in
bottom.
Peter.
Yes.
Okay, here's what it says. This is very fun! Exclamation point. Also, I have a question. Who did Hillary marry in the finale, and why is it obviously George Costanza? Dave from Chicago, $50.
Hillary reveals. I told you I did 3 cliffhangers, trying to make sure that the series got renewed, and it would have been, the plot would have been that she married Scott to get Scott out of some trouble, and it was never a consummated marriage. It would have been a marriage of convenience because he was in some legal scrape. It was never going to be anything serious, but I had to come up with some good cliffhangers. So I had three couples in crisis.
I love that fans are getting their questions finally answered.
No, it's so fun.
It's all. It's a service you provide for the community, Seth. And Jay. This is, next week, the chicken or the egg.
We'll finally find out. Okay, so before we go, I love that Rupert say? You didn't have Betty Buckley end on the tonic in the Miss You. Wait, what?
Oh, Rupert, I think your mic is acting up. That's
Oh,
what Jason
I'm going to
thinks.
mute you for a second.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
I'm
probably
going to see
getting a
if it
little
makes a
bit of.
difference. Okay, now if I talk. Okay.
Sorry, Rupert. We're going to
Miss-
mute you for a minute. No, is that?
Oh, I know. I kind of hear it again. Well, anyway, I love that you had Betty go to the tonic instead of the 5th in the Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Yep.
And I made Carolee do the exact same thing.
The winner takes it all. Yeah, the winner takes it all. Here we go. The winner takes it
Wow. Wow. Oh my God. Just when you think she's pulled every hand grenade out of the satchel, she goes for one more.
Only because he forced me.
I forced you. Now I'm doing that, if people don't know, because Betty Buckley 8 times a week hit this E that Rupert wrote. This is unbelievable.
If you hear my voice, then you're alive. What a bloody moment we survive. When you think of every risk we face, in all that human race, I have read the writing on the wall. Try to live forever and give up never. The fight you'll need the wherewithal. Can you hear?
Come on.
Come on. Yeah. How does
It does
anybody
not get better than that.
Rupert, you created that. Like one of the most brilliant Broadway moments ever written.
Seth, you have made that one of the more famous high E's in musical theater history. I'm so grateful to you for your deconstruction of that entire song.
It's brilliant. All right, put Betty Buckley.
Yeah, Betty wrote and said, "I'm so sorry, you guys. Ice storm in North Texas messing with her internet. So she's been trying for the last 40 minutes. And it's not going to happen.
If she would,
It's a great tribute to her.
if she would sing that E, we could hear her from here.
No mic. All right, guys, what an amazing night. What fantastic donations.
Oh, wait a minute. If it wasn't, we were going to have Betty read it, but you know what?
Yeah, we should have her. Yes, you're right. Okay, hold on. I just want to show all these cool things.
That's right. We can't forget.
Okay,
happy birthday, Rupert. Happy birthday. And thank you.
There's one more donation
that we have to read because they read it
early.
It was early.
It was the beginning of something.
Here we go.
There it is.
You want to read it, Seth?
908. Dear Seth, James, Dr. LaPook, and Stars in the House staff. Thank you so much for all that you do. Tonight I'm donating $36. 3 times high. Rupert Holmes would know that, even though the name is not Jewish. In honor of Betty Buckley, aka Gloria Redmond. I love the Remember When series so much, especially Betty singing "You Make It Christmas." Many thanks to Betty and to Rupert Holmes for creating this amazing series. Hugs and love from Austin. Deb and Toby, $36. Wow,
so many great donations.
Well, you know what? Just before we go, then let's just see that one fabulous moment that we were all just talking about. It is, James, where is that? 1, 2, 3, here.
Simply say that I'm yours, and you make it Christmas each day of love that we make. Simply say that I'm yours, and you make it Christmas each day of love that we
Yeah.
Can I say quickly, that was lip sung, but she sang it live while it was being lip sung. So standing next to her, hearing her voice was insane.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. How cool. The power. And Carolee, great playing. All right.
You know, Rupert, it's a huge testament to you because we've done a lot of reunions at this point, and I'm not going to name names, but there have been some TV shows where the actors were like, let's not have the creator or the writer on the show. Let's just keep it to the cast. Everyone was here because they love you, and it's so evident. So
wait, Betty Buckley, I think I see you. Betty Buckley.
Let's get Betty real quick.
Betty,
Betty,
we see you. Do you
Betty?
see us?
Betty's here.
Betty!
Oh my God.
Oh my
dear, oh dear, oh dear. I can't believe this.
Our homage has already happened.
Yes, we did an homage to you. Hi, Betty.
Happy birthday, Rupert. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Betty Lynn. Thank you.
Oh, I have my party hat.
There you go. Look.
What could be better? What could be better? Thank you, Carolee. Thank you, Betty.
Okay,
Thank
Betty, before your internet goes out again, we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you. Thank you for the donations. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Seth and James. Thank you, Rupert. Love you all.
Love you.
Best family I ever had.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy
I love you guys.
birthday.
We'll see everyone Friday for our show with Billy Porter.
Oh my God.
Little tribute there for Mr. Rupert.
Yes.